So, is a little bit of a grumpy day, so I figured I'd go and make myself feel a little better and hit the gym instead of training out there in what is essentially terrible weather. It's still kind of warm enough that you can wear shorts, but I'm wearing a jacket, as you can see, obviously. So, jacket and shorts, think of that what you like. Um, so yeah, today is going to be, I think, I'm going to do like an actual pull day. I went to the gym yesterday and ended up doing a kind of a heavy push day. I don't normally do these type of splits, so I'm feeling it. Don't ask me why I did that. There is a reason. I just don't want to share it with you. It's too silly. Mike won. Essentially what happened was Mike got to me, and so I ended up doing a bit of ego lifting, and not the smartest idea, although it was good to know. Self high five still freaking got some strength. So typically when I'm doing strength training, I'm doing sort of periods of heavy work, but not 1 RM, 3 RM kind of stuff, and doing more maximizing on repetitions. So I'm trying to get high repetitions of a fairly decent load. I'm not trying to get a huge load or 1 RM stuff or as heavy as I can go. I'm not trying to do all that, but I am going at least heavy, what I consider to be heavy for myself at least. And then just try and work on getting more and more reps out. So I'll try and get something on a 100 kilo or 220 bench press. I don't typically go much further with the weight than my own body weight. So this is roughly my weight. It's about 220, 230. So if I do that on a bench press, then I'll just try and see how many reps I can get on that 220, rather than trying to get my 220 up to 260 to 300 to 340, whatever it may be. So that's kind of how I've been doing strength. And then last night I ended up doing this session and started pulling up, whatever, let me guess, I don't know, about 300 or so. And I haven't done anything heavy like that in a while, but I was able to pull out some pretty decent, reps out of that, and then drop set from there. And then that was essentially just started off as Mike trying to tell me that I was a bit of a pussy and I couldn't do it. And that all these people that were watching me because they knew that I couldn't do it. So a little bit of that weird self-talk. A lot of people laughed at that part of the video last time, the self-talk. The self-talk isn't negative. It isn't like I'm actually believing Mike. It's just Mike is always there, just kind of egging me on. He's kind of like my annoying little friend that was always sort of just, you can't do that, but really he knows I can, but he just wants to see me do it. It's kind of that guy. Mike is kind of that. I'm a little cheeky in that, in my nature. Some friends would say probably not a little bit, a lot, but whatever. They just haven't seen the whole way, so I still consider it to be only a little bit. But yeah, essentially speaking, I think just a big back session today just to counteract the big push session yesterday. I won't be big like as if I'm a bodybuilder, but for me it will be big. And then I'll balance that out and I'll feel like I'm a bit more on a level playing field. And I'll be able to get out there and do what I normally do in regular pattern, back to regular scheduled programming by next week or whatever. So I'll do that. I haven't had anything to eat. It is around lunchtime. I've had a coffee, and that's about all I'm going to be training on. I have a little bit of electrolytes. I do a huge electrolyte pre-hydrate before I train at all times, always. And that's what I did today. So I put in about 2,000 milligrams of salt with some proper electrolytes, as well as creatine. So that's been my little pre-workout, and I started sipping on that probably about an hour before I left the house, just to make sure that I'm hydrated, just to make sure that everything's, pretty decent as far as that blood volume. So I'm good with that. That's all I'll do. I don't really do any pre-workout. I take a half a scoop of a pre-workout, which is called 5150. I told you guys I would find that out. So it's called 5150. Just a little local one here that's in the gym where I train. So that one is essentially the only one I take, and that is also in my intro workout water. So I take it as I'm training, not before training. It's a little different, I know, and it might not suit most people or it might not work for you, but that's how I figured out the best little pattern for me over the 20 odd years of training. And this is what I'm sticking to for now. It is not the gold standard only way to do it, but it is how I do it, and it is how I'm doing it now. So I'll see you guys on the inside where I have 500 steps to do. And then what I'm thinking about doing is potentially going in and filming a morning session for you guys, since it seems to be something I refer to quite a bit, and I've had a few requests to do that. So instead of just talking about it, I'll actually make a video on it. It's not really part of the gym series video I'm thinking about doing right now, but I can go off, I can pivot a little bit and get that sorted out for you guys. So I'll put that together. It's currently at the moment a holiday sort of weekend, like a Thursday holiday. It's Thanksgiving, so there's the Thursday holiday and then the weekend after, which I work on, as you guys know. So therefore, it may take me, I might make that one, the next video or something, or pop it in between the next two videos or something. So anyway, I'm mumbling on as I do, and I'll stop doing that right now and see you guys in the gym. Oi, okay. Back at it today, trying to change a little bit of the angles of stuff, so apologies if this is a little bit out of whack when it comes to zooming and fitting me inside the screen. We should be able to fix this a little bit in the post process, but it is what it is for now. As long as the microphone is working and you guys can hear me, I can see you, then we'll get going. It'll be fine. So as I mentioned a little earlier in the car on the way here, the power of mic. So I wanted to explain this a little bit to you guys. Mic is the ego, essentially. And the ego, I believe, is extremely important when it comes to achieving, when it comes to drive, and when it comes to being inspired or motivated, as you guys like to call it these days, within yourself. I'm not a big fan of motivating type speeches or people. They're good, they have their space, but they don't work for me. So when I say I'm not a fan, I mean for me personally, they don't do what I guess maybe they should be doing, or they think they're doing, or they are doing to other people, I guess is a better way to say it. So I just essentially, look, if I have a goal and I'm inspired to reach my goal, that's enough for me to do what I got to do. And I found that I haven't had a goal in quite some time. Since I gave up on sport a decade ago, I tried it a few times, little comebacks here and there and whatever, but body's just unable to take the load at the level of which I was going back in trying to play. I played a lot of basketball growing up, a lot. Was relatively athletic, but not disciplined enough. So that kind of ended. As far as the pursuit of playing at a high level, early 20s. But there was a couple of years in between there where I took up playing volleyball. It's the athleticism I liked. I was pretty quick, not in running, but just in agility. I had a pretty decent vertical jump, so volleyball suited me. 2 or 3 steps and you're on the other side of the court. Don't really need to be fast. Don't really need to train too much of the endurance stuff, so I enjoyed that. But Mike creeped in at this point. Mike was the guy that used to tell me that I wasn't good enough, but not in a manner in which I think today's generation sees it and takes it personal. Because words back when I was young, sticks and stones may break my bones, or words will never hurt me, was a saying. Not only was it a saying, it was something we all used to rehearse and say, almost like you can pledge allegiance or sing the national anthem in school. This was something that was said on the playgrounds all day, every day. Bullying was around, not an issue. Because you knew, you trusted in yourself. So Mike became like this little bully in my shoulders, on my shoulder and in my head. But the guy that was driving me, he was my fan. He wanted me to succeed. Mike was like, dude, you're slacking. Do this. Bro, what are you up to? You don't need a break right now. That kind of stuff. So Mike became the guy that would influence me and not motivate me. And then I had to get that motivation from within. The goal is to make this team. The goal is to accomplish this dunk or win this tournament, play this game with this style or this way, whatever that may be. And Mike was the guy that would sort of push me to that with a little bit of that, come on, you can't do it, bro. Come on. Because I always knew my ego wanted to accomplish. My ego wanted me to be that, to do this, to have that, to have people say this about me or whatever it may be. Best compliments ever are, oh, I knew that guy. Oh, that's the guy that da-da-da. For me, in a physical world, because I wasn't so intellectually clever, book smart, that was my thing. So this is the history of Mike. Mike is the guy that pushes me, and Mike sort of inspiring in a way, because I'm trying to beat him, knowing all too well he is actually me. So he sits inside of my mind, and he's utilized a way to sort of push me. He's pushed me physically to go and do the things I need to do to accomplish the goals that I set for myself. He's like my little right-hand man. That's why I don't mind having Mike around. That's why I refer to Mike. This is the first time I've actually spoken to him or about him out loud, so to speak, because of this YouTube thing is new for me. But Mike's always been there. I can describe Mike in my head, the picture of him. I know exactly what it looks like. So yeah, if you have a little bit of an ego and you need to be a little bit patted on the back, told you're good, reaffirm that you know what you're doing, you're on the right track, need a little bit of that, nothing wrong with creating a little persona for your ego. I guess my ego is Mike and Mike is my ego. I wouldn't say that at 100% all the time, but definitely in moments, he is that, and that's for sure. So essentially that's all I wanted to talk about today in this moment. I am approaching about 8 minutes on this bad boy, and that should take me to the 500 steps I'm on for today. I'll owe one more lot of 500 by the end of the week to hit my goal of 2,000 per week, 2,000 steps on this bad boy. So I'll see you guys on the floor, because I'm just about to wrap this bad boy up and put a little bit more on my IG as I do for this kind of stuff, the receipts. So I'll see you guys there in just a couple minutes. Oh, okay, see the row. All right, because I'm doing back more than anything, I will be swaying and not extending my arms perfectly straight at the end of the movement either. So a lot of people have got things to say about this. And just remember, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm showing you what I do. I don't have all the predisposed back injuries and tightnesses that a lot of people who have jobs sitting down all day have. So I'm fairly active and I move around a little bit. So I'm actually feeling pretty safe doing this kind of training. I find it a lot more effective and a lot more targeting as far as how much I can get activation in my back. And then I have also an issue where I have to try and not activate my arms quite as much because they tend to overactivate a little. I'm also not trying to rectify or fix that. So I appreciate those who are going to say, you should fix that. You are true and correct, I should. But I also don't really give a shit to try and fix that right now. So I'm just focusing on training within what I am and what I have, and maximizing on that within the goal and the physical aesthetic goal that I have for myself. As a 45-year-old, okay, I'm 44, 45 in a few weeks. So I'm just gonna say 45, because by the time you guys see this, I'll be 45. So for a 45-year-old, there's a lot of things that have come in life and made people think, talk and train, and made people think that you should or shouldn't be doing based on a number. I am not a big believer in this, as I find myself to be a statistical anomaly in most cases for most things. So why would I believe in the standard, the average, or the mean of all of these people that are apparently part of this study, that's apparently part of this statement, that's apparently part of the science, that's apparently the only thing we should be listening to? I can go and tap back into some of the things I've talked about previously on this channel about this being my journey to encourage you, not my coaching style tell you that this is the only way. I don't believe in that. I'm not saying this is the only way. I've trialed and done hundreds of different types of training, some for maybe too long and some probably for not long enough. I just didn't find them to be doing what they should be doing. I didn't like how they were changing me, and I sort of just went, you know what, I gave it a shot and it's not for me. I try and learn as much as I can about these protocols so that I can then go and assess where I am based on what these protocols are supposed to be doing to us or to me, and then I can recommend that based on having done it myself with other clients and friends and people I talk to about training. I'm trying to find a different way of communicating this overall message of I'm just training myself here, and in that time frame or in that time period, I'm telling you guys a little bit about what's going on in my mind, what's going on in my head, where I'm at, what I see that works or doesn't work. I'm not giving you guys advices on what you should be doing. I don't know you. We haven't, discussed any plans, history, training stuff. So this is just me talking out loud about what I'm training and why I'm training it. All right, short shot. All right. So yeah, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I do it. I'm talking you guys through it as I let you guys on my journey with me, and I'm all alone in here, so I may as well at least have a couple of friends to talk to. I wear these headphones, just in case anyone's wondering, purely so that when I'm seen talking to myself, which is what I'm doing right now, because I don't see the camera so much, then it looks like maybe I'm on the phone. Two reasons for that. I don't want these guys to think I'm crazy. But I also see that they respect that I'm on the phone, thinking I'm on the phone. They don't come and ask too many questions or interrupt or anything like that. And it's not that I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. It's not that I don't like it. It's that the recording is on. So when the recording goes off, I tend to approach the guy who tried to approach me, but then veered off or whatever. Alright, so the last set will be heavier, whatever you call it. It should be fun. It's been a while. So going to be pulling stuff as far as like a big back or big full session stuff. It'll be interesting to see how much I've got left in the tank for the next exercise, which will be a machine. And then I'll end it with what they are always. Not in the moment, but before and after I do enjoy the sound, sight, and smell of the pull up and just hovering. Alright. Last set. And 2 plates from the bottom of the stack. It's not a huge stack, so not really a brag. Squeeze shoulder blades together behind me. Don't let the elbows straighten out forward slightly. Pushing through the toes on the feet plate for kinetic. Alright, so that was fun. I'll be sure to do that one again another day. Because now Mike's in my head telling me I'm a pussy for not having done the whole stack since I was that damn close anyway. But anyway, I will move the camera over there. See you guys in a sec. Okay, so this pullover machine over here looks pretty dope. So I'm about to get myself involved in a little bit of this. Have not used it before. Seems to be really. I am. Do you want to be in it? Just say hi. What machine you're after? I can move that, so I'll just switch it up. Oh, okay. Right, the fun part. Trying new things. Oh, okay, so with these types of machines, I haven't done this machine specifically, but I've done these exercises and a machine similar. Is this wants to lift me up, as you can see here, so I've got to stay grounded. So I'm actually kind of sinking my butt into the seat as I'm letting my elbows reach up behind me, and I'm getting a stretch in the lats, as you can see from my shakes. That's a stretch. I'm pushing down. I tank my feet back a little bit like this because it helps me stay on the ground, as in butt on the seat. Right. Let's get a few reps out here without all this talking and shaking. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit more weight on this. It's not quite as heavy as I thought it was going to be. So let's, actually I'm gonna go double. So let me get a serious shake in this next set. I can tell already because the amount of load that is on here with the 2 plates either side, there's going to be quite a stretch on my lats, especially because this machine makes my lats stretch essentially with a movement replicating an overhead movement, which if you're following around will realize very quickly is not one of my strong suits. Overhead is not something I do a lot of work on or with, simply from that background in volleyball, as I was explaining a little earlier, and having a lot of injuries through my right spiking shoulder, and then a light small motorcycle accident and shattering my collarbone on the left. So steel plate with 8 screws in the left shoulder kind of tickles a little bit with anything overhead. I still push it. I'm not advising you guys push through when you have these little injuries, but I did at the time. So I have all the issues that span from that as a result. And one of those results is the inability to do things overhead like this as much as I would like, but I make do with what I have, and I go forward with what is. What is this? It's tough. And shakes is getting me. And I can tell you one thing. Wow. I won't be disrespecting this awesome hat. Thanks to 3 Nails Clothing. Check them out. I got a code in my link in bio, I think they say. I won't be showing you my shaved head, but my joke was going to be that after this exercise I will not be washing my hair because my arms will not go above my head for a few days. That is for sure. I can feel it already. Just the stretch itself with that much load is working the muscles in a place, in a position, and in a movement that they haven't done for some time. But I'm surprisingly stronger than I thought, so I'm gonna add more weight and go again. Mic's in my ear, just so you guys know what's going on. Telling me I should be adding more weights. So I used to have this weird little attitude that I typically would use when I was low, down, and out with injuries or lack of whatever, situational things, and I wasn't training as much as I liked or enjoyed. Then I would have this thing where I would go in and find a gym and just do like a week's worth of training in one session. Something similar to that. Not smart, but that's what I used to do. And so I would go in there with my ego. This is where Mike would come in. And I would try and lift more weights than the strongest guy in the gym. Emphasis on the word try. I didn't always do it, but I tried. That was like that pump to get me to lift heavy. And then I'd get tired within about 30, 40 minutes. But I would use the motivation of having pretty girls around as the ego, because I had a pump on, so I thought I was, cool and all that kind of jazz. And so I would use the ego of having some girls around to keep me training longer. So I was staying in the gym twice as long as I typically would. And I was lifting weights much heavier than I would if it wasn't anybody around. So I was utilizing that one session and trying to get 3, 4, 5 sessions out of it in one day, and it worked. Barely eat and don't really have pre-workout, a couple of coffees or something, and I'd be okay with maybe a banana or something if I didn't sleep so well, and That's how I got my gym sessions in. You know, if I didn't have a car to travel or there was no gyms nearby, I'd try and get that out there once or twice a week max and just do that kind of training. Go in peak training times where I knew there was enough people to use those things I just described to my advantage. And that's essentially not really Mike talking to me, but that's that Mike-like stuff that I described earlier, where this is the facts. I want to show off, and I want to show off like this way, or in this exercise, or being there that long, or looking this good. And so I just use those things to my advantage. Okay, there's enough rest, enough talking. Last set here. This is a little bit of a big set, for me at least. So let's see what we can get out of it. Oh, 12 on the last set. I don't know how many, it's 50 kilos each side there, so whatever that works out to be in pounds, 2.2, so 110, 120 pounds, something like that. That's enough for an exercise I have never done in this gym. There's a few machines here I've actually never done, being here for a few months, but still haven't gone around and tried them, so I might try and do a few of them here and there and work my way around and show you guys through this really cool gym out in the middle of Alabama there. This is dope. The guy who owns the gym is a semi-pro wrestler, like pro wrestling, like Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I think he's the current champion as well. And they've got a gym ring out the back here, which is awesome. I'll tag them in an Instagram video soon, so you guys have access to seeing that if you're ever out on this side of the woods. And right next door is this gym. And the guy says to me, look, he's always had the gym. He likes gyms and stuff, training and stuff. He's a pretty big guy. But he just says he's an equipment hoarder. He just loves all the equipment, machines, old school. It's not too much new school stuff. It's all old school and reliable, good, strong. Never really went wrong, kind of hammer strength stuff and all sorts of hoists and all these type of things out here that are pretty dope. So if you're ever out here checking this out, passing through, highly recommend stopping. Cosmos. It's I don't really have them on the big signs on the wall I can show you right here right now, but they're pretty dope. Big shout out to Barry at Cosmos, letting me use the gym for this series as well. So I'll see you guys on the next little exercise, which according to what I said will be chin-ups. Chin-ups. Bars free, so see you there. What? Chin-up bars free for the last exercise. I'll do 3 or 4 sets here. Let's see how we go. Haven't done this in a while, so I'm gonna try and hit, let's say, I'm gonna try and hit 50 chin-ups. That should be interesting. I'll move it so you guys can see my crazy faces and the random talking that will be happening in between. So let's go with, I'm gonna go with 15 for the first set. Let's see how we go with the rest. I'm not gonna make any promises. Right, so 15, not too bad. A little harder than I thought it was going to be. I think these pulling sets been doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm feeling a little bit fatigued in there, so I was going to try and do another 15 after this. I could do that, but the rest period would probably be quite lengthy, and I don't really have the time to do that today, nor do I want you guys sitting around waiting on that, and I don't like to pause and cut the video so much. I want to try and keep these videos relatively raw and as they are if you were in the gym with me. The whole purpose of this is to bring you guys along with me, so I feel like I've got, you know, friends and support and everything training with me. So I don't like to cut and edit it too much, as you can probably tell. Pretty raw video, just camera and mic on and go. Apart from transporting the camera stuff around between different machines and on the other side of the gym, I don't really turn the camera off. So that's kind of the appeal of this video series and how I'll be progressively doing these gym workouts. I'll try and keep the same sort of style for now. That's my mentality and my thinking for now, but we'll see about that later. Right, so biceps are pumped, lats are pumped. Set of 15 was pretty tough, so I'm gonna go and crank out. I'll see if I can get out a 10, set of 10. Work my way down from there until eventually I'm pulling out ones and twos to hit that 50, because I said I would, so I gotta do it. I perhaps should have thought about that before I started doing all the other back and pulling exercises, but hey, now Mike's in my ear. Nope, I'm doing them. All right, so 10, not so fun, but 10. Bringing my total up to 25. So what I'll think I'll do now is break it into maybe 5 sets of 5. That might help me out. The rest periods should be a little bit smaller in between sets of 5. I'll give myself a pretty decent little rest here, probably a couple minutes. So you guys will be stuck listening to me ramble and bamble. Ramble and bamble. I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. Ramble on. But the good news is, you might learn something. If not, then I'll definitely have learned something. And that would be not to talk about whatever it is I'm about to talk about, if no one's going to learn anything from it. Okay, so I haven't done anything with the form and technique of chin-ups as far as instructionals, and what I think I'll do in this one is try and talk you through, because I should be able to talk through sets of 5 and tell you 5 little pointers, 4 or 5 little pointers that I'm doing or thinking about or concentrating on as I'm doing them. So all right, next set, I'm gonna try and get you guys to check out my grip situation. So like feet are the foundation of everything because they're connected to the ground. When you're suspending, like in a chin-up, your arms are essentially your feet. They are the initial part of where everything else stems from. So that's the grip in which you're holding onto the bar. So that's kind of like the feet that are technically holding onto the ground. So with my grip, I don't squeeze the bar, I just hook the bar. That's me personally, that's how I like to do it. I hook. It looks like I'm squeezing because maybe my wrist is closed, but I'm not squeezing the bar. I don't want to waste any energy on forearm gripping. I just hook with my fingers and pull from there. So If you want to check that out, I might be able to change the camera angle a little and zoom in, and then you might be able to see that. So we'll do that for now, just focusing on the grip and the hook aspect, as you can see from here. The hook, that's why you see my thumbs on here, because they keep it separated as opposed to gripping all the way in. So the thumbs are kind of pushing away. Now that I'm hanging and suspending, I can take the thumbs away. There's that grip again. You can see here, still the same distance with the thumb. Holding on with the grip, not with the fist. All right, we'll bring this back. Okay, the next part to think about when you're doing this will be the activation after the pull. So the initial movement is the pull of the bar with the fingers. Then the next part will be the actual grip of the back, the stability, or essentially where the grip connects to. So the grip is connected to the bar. The second part of that is connected to, obviously down the chain of muscles, to your back. Your back is the next part that it's connected to. Obviously through forearms and everything, but technically speaking, it's pulling your torso up. So your torso is the next connection point. And the torso would be the lower traps, the rhomboids, and obviously the lats. The second part of the muscle group helping out with that would be the forearms, the grip fingers, and obviously the biceps. Probably some rear delts in there too. Because I am squeezing my shoulder blades together, rear delts and rhomboids will be on. So that's technique. So what I'll do for this set is do the channels backwards, facing the other way. You're not going to see all that activation through my t-shirt clearly and obviously, and it's way too cold to take my shirt off. That will be coming soon, I'm sure, at some point. But for now, it's just a matter of like seeing my back pull down, right? So in between each set, each rep, you'll see that I sort of release and let go of my shoulder blade, the shoulder girdle. I let that open up. I let that open up at the top. So I let it hang. Then I'll pull that back down before I start pulling. So keep an eye on that. That's essentially how that works. There's that grip and there's that hang. There's the shoulder blades opening up. So they pull before I start pulling. I'm not in the center of the bar. 2, 3. Not really aware whether you guys saw that or not, or was visibly able to see that or not, so hopefully that helped out. If not, as I said, I'll have to do a session, shirts off at some point so you can see the muscles working and a little bit better. It just ain't gonna be today because it is freezing today. There's a bunch of people in the gym, a handful of people in the gym. I don't want to be out here taking my shirt off in a gym that doesn't really even have anyone else recording. So maybe we'll come in, it's 24 hours a day, maybe we'll come in an evening or something by myself. I'll bring my buddy to do some recording and we'll do a session like that at some point in the future. But for now, we'll go into the third part. So after grip, we've got the stability in the back pulling. To do the pulling from, so the foundation. So we've got 2 anchors, one on the torso, one on the bar. And then from there, for me, it's about feet. I'm trying to arch my back a little bit, create like a bit of a C. I may not be in a C position, as in C, the letter C. I may not be in a C position, but I'm trying to think about being in a C position. I'm arching my back. The reason I arch my back is to keep the low back of the muscle in the low back to activate as well. They tend to just dangle most of the time. For most of us when doing chin-ups, they just dangle the legs, the torso,
holds all the weight, does all the work. Then the low back kind of connects the legs together, and they sort of tend to just sit there and do nothing, kind of like a dead weight. I'd rather those be an assistant and also get a bit of a workout, even if it's just isometric at some point, I don't mind. So I'll be arching my back. I'll get you guys to check that out. Obviously walking through the first part of the grip, second part with the torso connecting to the back and the rhomboids. I call it a seatbelt, but like a seatbelt activating the rhomboids, the traps, everything. And then once that's there, I arch my back. So I'll do another 5 doing that. I'm not sure if you'll see that whether I'm facing forward or backwards, so let's see. So grip stabilizes the seat belt, the foundation, then the arch, the C, the back arch, the low, bringing the low back. What bringing the low back around in that C position does is it helps me be able to have a foundation for the next part, which is to squeeze the glutes, the butt. I want to squeeze the glutes and the butt because that's the biggest, strongest, heavy piece of muscle tissue around there that's going to stabilize the legs, and whether they're going to be dangling around loosely or connecting together as 2 legs and then lowering and then connecting as a lower part of my body to the upper part of my body that my arms are pulling from. So in order to squeeze the glutes, not only am I consciously thinking about squeezing the glutes, but I'm also going to be crossing my feet and lifting them back. I don't have to cross my feet, but I'll do it for this exercise for the sake of this. And I'm trying to kick my legs back. You'll see what I mean in a sec. I'll lower it down a little bit at the camera angle so you can see. But I'm trying to have my glutes turn on and my legs kick back underneath me. That also will help with that C shape I'm trying to get now. It's not big. The C shape is not big. The arch back is not huge. That's what I'm trying to do in my head by activating all those bits and pieces. I think about grip, I think about locking in my back, think about arching my lower back, which then turns the glutes on, and then I really squeeze the glutes by kicking my legs backwards. This is essentially what I mean here. Okay, kicking my legs back. Not forgetting all the other parts as well. So I'm feeling my low back tighten up a little bit there, so that's clearly doing what it's supposed to be doing. That helped. The grip was on. I'm feeling my grips on my forearm. Definitely feeling in my low back, my middle back, and my lats. Those muscles are doing what they should be doing. So essentially that's pretty much all I'm doing there. There's maybe one other aspect that I'll do, and that's what I call the self-spot. So I'm a big fan of self-spotting. It comes a little bit from being able to squeeze out a few extra reps. There's always going to be good when it comes to being a little tired, working through phases of training where you want to gain a little bit more endurance, muscle endurance, and some strength. So being able to pull out what is essentially the next 2 or 3 reps as if you have a spotter there with you, even when you don't, which is quite often my case. So what I'll do in this instance is I'll try, and you'll see that as I get to the bottom of the chin up, I'll let my chest kind of push forward. It almost looks a little bit like that butterfly type movement that they do in CrossFit. It's not quite as momentum driven, but there's a little bit of an aspect to it. So you'll see I kind of push forward a little bit in order to create a little bit of momentum to get me started on that pull up. So it's more of a swing with a bit of momentum, but it's in control. I'm not letting the momentum create momentum, if that makes any sense. I'm not letting myself drop down fast in order to get that forward momentum to then drive that up again. I'm controlling it down and stopping that momentum on the way down, therefore recreating a little bit of forward swing to get that next movement up. I'm not going to need it in this set because I think I can do 5 pretty easily, but I will be adding it to this to show you guys what it is that I'm talking about and how I would typically do it for the last maybe 3 or 4 reps if I was doing a set of 15 or 20 and I was fatigued or something. So this is not how I do all my reps. This is just how I do these reps when I get tired. For example, again. So hang, push forward here, get up, forward, 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 up. You're not going to see it in that video. Probably should have done it, but I don't think my angle on the camera will show it. But my feet touch the ground to stop that momentum from going too much in that swinging motion. So as I lower down and control my feet hit the ground, therefore they can almost just push and then propel my chest forward. So I'm kind of pushing backwards, pushing force backwards with my feet, and my feet are on the floor. So there's a little bit of that. It's tiny. It's not even worth recording now that I think of it, because you're probably not going to see it. But just so you know, that's actually what's happening on my body. That's what my muscles are doing. Right, well, that'll do for today. I'm happy with that. Decently big back session for me, considering I don't do back with a chest or any of those type of splits. I felt it. It's a good, I don't know how many programs I will have, 7 sets here, 5 sets there, 12, another 3 sets there, 13, so 15 sets on back. Not bad. Biceps are feeling it. They're not supposed to be, but they are. But anyway, that'll do it for today. I hope you guys have a good day. For those of you celebrating Thanksgiving, this video will be going up on Thanksgiving weekend. So I hope you guys had a safe, happy, and gave thanks to everything and everyone in your life that it helps you guys be who you are and to push you guys into that position in life that you want to be in. So I'm very grateful, very thankful for the handful of friends I have here. Good handful of friends, both male and female, and both in this state and the previous state I was in. I appreciate you all being on here in this journey with me. I will stop mumbling and rambling on. I gotta get that wording right. And let Mike win this one. But he's telling me to do something else now, but I gotta go. My walk down by 2 o'clock there. I got stuff I gotta go get done before I start working tonight. So I'll see you guys in the next step. Until then, keep it real, keep it raw, and keep it relevant.